All right, everyone, we are ready to start our Rocky Mountain hike, and this is called the Ute Trail, and it goes to something called Milner's Pass. So it's a few miles in and a few miles back, but I heard the hike back is a lot harder. But we're going to be hitting some snow, it looks like. The trail goes off in that direction, and I understand there's something called a snow field. So let's head out and see what we find. And by the way, we are in Rocky Mountain National Park. And it was quite a drive coming up here. I think we are at 11,000 feet, which is super, super high. That's why there is snow here still. I know a lot of you were hoping that I would see animals on my hikes, but sometimes you don't because they shy away from people. But that's why I'm taking pictures of a lot of the flowers that I come across and the different plant life. Like these little yellow flowers. They look like buttercups, but I don't think they are. There are lots of other types of flowers I've been walking by. Like these little purple ones right here. Little teeny tiny purple flowers. You can see them right there. I'm not sure what they are though. We are very high up. Very, very high in elevation. And I'm sure when I hike back, it's going to be very difficult. Because the higher you go in elevation, the harder it is to breathe. Because of how much oxygen is in the air. But I think we're going to be okay. Some snow right there. I'll try to get close to some snow and let you check it out. You can see all the snow that I'm going to be walking by. Can you see him? He's looking at us. I'm not sure what he is. He sort of looks like a groundhog, but not. He has a really long tail. He looks reddish. Guess we'll have to look it up and see. I just passed some people who were coming back, and they said up ahead around the corner there was a very large herd of elk. So let's hope they are still there. And I'll give you some video if they are. Let's cross our fingers. Well, I can definitely see the elk. They are up on top of that mountain. You might be able to see their horns. Their heads with their horns sticking up. Let's see if we can get closer. So we have to be really careful moving on here where all the elk are, because there is a baby calf and its mama who are in the field ahead of us and just above. And you can see there are some hikers right there. They are very slowly and cautiously taking their time, because if you anger them, they will charge you, and that's a big, big danger. So we're going to keep moving on, and hopefully we'll see where the herd is up ahead. But for right now, we're going to go slow and keep an eye out on that little ridge up there where the bull elk, those are the boys, are laying down, and the mama elk is up there too. And here's some snow right in front of us, and that's why the elk were here. They were drinking from the snow. But we're going to be very careful. You can see one of the bull elk just laying right there. That's as zoomed in as I can get, but you can see his horns and his body right in the middle of the screen. There, oh, he stood up. He's looking at us. You can see how big his rack of horns are. Very big. We're gonna keep on hiking off the trail a little bit, but we're watching up there. He's still standing up and watching us as we hike along. Now, as we're hiking on the trail here, we're coming up to a pond, or I think it would be called a spring. And I'm sure lots of animals drink out of this spring, which is now a pond this time of year. I don't see any animals there, but let's check it out. We'll look and see if we can find any. Getting closer to the spring, the pond. There it is. I don't see any animals though. Maybe we'll see some on our way back. It is an amazing place though, I can tell you that. You can see all the mountains in the background. Those are miles away, but they look so big. And you can see the spring pond as we approach it right here. Pretty neat. I'm going to get closer to it. See if by chance there are any fish here. See if you can see any. No, it's really hard. There's probably a lot of reflection. Let's look around. See if we can see any kind of fish or frogs. Ooh, I see some tadpoles way down in there. Do you see them swimming in there? I can see them. Or they're larvae of an insect, I think maybe. I don't see any big fish in here. Hard to say though. And would you look at this? As I'm walking along the path, there are two more smaller springs, which I'm sure the animals use to drink from, which I am looking carefully around. And I don't see any right now. There's one of the springs. There's the other. Now, they may not be springs. They could be small ponds, holding ponds that are created by the melting snow. As you can see, the snow is all around us. I'm going to pass a patch of it right up here. And it's been raining a lot. In fact, on my drive up to the top of this mountain, I got caught in a really bad storm and it was 39 degrees outside. Let's take a look at this patch of snow. I see some tracks in it. They look like elk. That's an elk track. Looks like they walked right through here. Let's see if I can get myself here. Hopefully I'm on camera right here. I'll hold it far away. There's the snow, which is really neat. Can you believe there's snow right here? It's pretty deep too. Okay, let's move on. So this sign is telling us that we are 11,320 feet high up in the mountains. There's a famous musical, and it's a movie you can watch on TV called The Sound of Music. And that mountainside reminds me of it. A big, grassy mountainside. So if you ever have the chance, you might want to watch The Sound of Music. and see if this reminds you of it. Well, we've been hiking for about an hour and a half. So I think I'm going to turn around, head back up the path, and maybe find another location before evening to hike. So we have about an hour and a half ahead of us, probably about 2.5 miles back to where we started this hike. I'll keep my eye out for some wildlife. Ooh, let's check out this real quick. Just saw this little path right here. Looks like a lot of people have been on. I see shoe prints. Oh yeah. Look at this. Wow. There's a rock right here. Climb up on this rock. Would you look at that? No wonder people come right here. I'm glad I found this on our way back. And if you look way down there, you can see cars that are making their way up here to the top of the mountain where I started. But they are way far away, as you can see. Wow. Okay, I'm gonna hop off this rock and head back out to the trail. And here we go, back on the trail, looking at things from a different direction. Sometimes you miss things whenever you don't turn around to look, so we're going to look carefully on our way back. You know, there was one thing I did want to point out. Throughout this whole hiking trip, especially here in the Rocky Mountains, do you see all that wilderness down there? It goes on for miles and miles and miles. Well, you know, elk live there, moose, bear, lots of little critters and birds. But I have a suspicion I know who else lives down in that wilderness. Do you know who I'm talking about? I've been looking for him the whole time. Don't think I've forgotten. But I haven't come across one sighting yet. Not even a footprint. But I'm keeping my fingers crossed. Uh-oh. Well, there was definitely an animal who was on this trail lately. I'm not sure what kind of animal that was, but they were definitely on the path. There is a pretty big storm coming. If you remember from my hike at the Golden Wall, a big storm came. This one I can feel blowing in, and the wind is really cold wind. So hopefully I can hustle and I can make it back before I get rained on. But if I do get rained on, I have my rain gear. I put on part of it right now just in case. All right, let's continue on our way back and see if we see those elk. Can you see the storm blowing in? Look at those clouds. They are pretty dark. I better pick up my pace. Pretty good news, everyone. I can see the elk up on the hill ahead of us. So, looks like they're grazing in the grass. So I'm going to get up there. They're right up there on that hill right there. It's probably hard to see right now, but I'm going to get up there as the storm approaches and try to get a closer video for you guys. All right, let's keep going. Okay, we're getting a little closer again. There they are, right there. That's as close as I can get. They are grazing in the field, eating the grass. I don't want to do anything to alert them. They can see me. There's some behind me back there too. The closest ones are right there. They're watching. Just beyond the snow. That is a big bull elk with his horns. He started back up the hill, which is good for me. I'm going down off the path a little bit to get away from him. Like I said, I don't want to alarm them or alert them. He is big. So we're just going to give him some space. Sitting right there in the grass. This one is standing up. Looks like he's keeping guard of everything. Okay, we are gonna keep walking. Moving on. Almost back to where we started. Say goodbye to the elk. I think this is going to wrap up our hike. I'm pretty close to the end again, or the beginning rather. And it is getting cold, which means a storm is blowing in. All right, I'm not sure where we're going next after this, but hopefully you enjoyed this one. I know I did. See you next time. So one last thing on this hike. Right when I was getting back, I actually had to yell to scare